As I shift uneasily, a chilly draft brushes against my skin, and the constant, throbbing pain in my wrists draws my focus back into the harsh light of reality, away from the depths of slumber. I open my eyes, straining to adjust to the faint light filtering through the slats. What I see is an unfamiliar, chilling sight: metal handcuffs clamped tightly around my wrists, chaining me to the headboard of our bed. My voice cracks, dry and disoriented, and the room echoes with a soft, malicious laugh. I turn my head sharply toward the sound, my heart hammering against my ribs. There, at the edge of the bed, sits my wife, Clara, her skin glowing softly under the bedroom light. She's not alone. Beside her, with an arm draped over her shoulders, is a man whose face is partially hidden by shadows. "Good morning, sleepyhead," Clara teases, her voice dripping with a venomous sweetness I've never heard before. "Clara, what's happening? Why am I struggle against the cuffs, feeling the cold metal bite into my skin. "Oh, don't worry, darling. You needed a good rest," she replies, her fingers tracing along the stranger's arm. "We just didn't want you to interrupt." My gaze flickers between them, disbelief clouding my judgment. The man leans forward, his face coming cruelly into focus, and he's smirking, satisfaction painted clearly across his expression. "You see, we thought it'd be fun to change things up a bit. You always liked surprises, didn't you?" Clara's words sting, laced with a betrayal so deep that it cuts into my very soul. Swallowing the lump in my throat, I try to gather my scattered thoughts. Why are you doing this?" The room feels colder, darker, as though it's mirroring the sudden abyss my life has plummeted into. "Because, my dear, it's exhilarating," she purrs, standing up and sauntering toward me. "I wanted something more than the monotony of our life together," Clara continues, her voice smooth but with an icy edge. "It's not that I don't care about you, but the thrill, the adrenaline of doing something forbidden, of controlling the situation, that's what I crave. It's far more exhilarating than the predictability of marriage. Power over someone else, watching them squirm, seeing them fall apart, it's intoxicating." She leans closer, her eyes gleaming with a dangerous excitement. "This is about control. About taking what I want, when I want it. After this, our dull routines will be gone, and you'll see, we'll both feel more alive. Isn't that what relationships need sometimes? A little fire, a little danger to wake us up." Her low, almost cruel laugh echoes around the room as she watches my reaction, relishing the power she believes she has over me. Her fingers glide across my bare chest, a mock tenderness that contrasts sharply with the coldness in her eyes. "Don't worry, we're just having a bit of fun." The word fun echoes mockingly in my mind. Helplessly, I watch as she leans down to kiss the man, passionately, right in front of me. A wave of humiliation washes over me, sparking a fire deep within. As they continue, lost in their own world, a sharp, burning desire for revenge starts to simmer inside me. Each taunt, every touch they share, fuels my resolve. I need to escape. I need to turn the tables. But first, I need to get out of these handcuffs. I glance around subtly, spotting a small, forgotten file on the nightstand, possibly left there from some mundane household task. It's just within reach of my extended hand, if I can only manage to. Carefully, I keep my movements to a minimum, stretching my fingers toward it. My heart pounds loudly, nearly giving away my intent. Almost there, just a bit further. Suddenly, Clara turns, her eyes narrowing. "What are you doing?" she asks, her voice laced with a dangerous edge. "Nothing," I reply, voice steady despite the panic racing through me. "Just uncomfortable." She studies me a moment longer before shrugging and turning back to her lover. I seize the moment, my fingers finally closing around the file. A surge of adrenaline kicks in as I begin working on the cuffs, my actions hidden by the twisted sheets. As I file through the metal, a plan starts to form in my mind, not just for escape, but for revenge. If they want to play games, I'll show them just how twisted this game can get. By the end, they'll wish they never toyed with me. The metal finally yields with a soft click, a sound more satisfying than any I've ever heard. My wrists, raw and bruised, are free. I slide off the bed, my feet touching the cold floor, standing before either Clara or her lover notices my absence. Quietly, I slip into the bathroom, locking the door behind me. My mind races, the immediate danger is over, but I'm far from safe or satisfied. Peering through the bathroom window, I spot the dim outline of our shed under the moonlight, and an idea takes shape. I need tools, leverage. Dressed in nothing but my shorts, I slide the window open and crawl through, dropping silently onto the dew-covered grass. I dart across the yard to the shed, praying the darkness shields me from prying eyes. Inside, I rummage through the clutter until my hand closes around a sturdy rope and a flashlight. Not weapons, but potentially useful. I pocket a small screwdriver for more immediate use, then make my way back toward the house, both equipped and determined. As I climb back through the window, a noise from upstairs halts my progress, footsteps. They're searching for me. I need to hide, but even more importantly, I need allies. I think of Jake, my neighbor and a retired cop, someone trustworthy, and likely awake at this ungodly hour. I retrieve my phone from the living room, grateful I'd left it there, and dial his number. It rings twice before a gruff voice answers. "Jake, it's me. I need help. Can you come over?" I whisper urgently. "On my way." Armed and ready, Jake responds without hesitation, a testament to years of friendship, solidified by mutual respect and, now, necessity. Minutes stretch on like hours until I hear a soft knock at the back door. I open it to find not only Jake but his sister, Mara, a former attorney with a sharp mind and an even sharper tongue. "What's the situation?" Jake whispers, scanning the room. I quickly outline what happened, the betrayal, the handcuffs, my escape. Mara's eyes harden with each word. "We need to catch them in the act," she suggests, her mind already turning over legal strategies. "Collect evidence. If we can record them admitting to drugging you, it would help." Jake nods, pulling a small digital recorder from his pocket. "Let's set this up somewhere they won't find it." "Got any ideas?" "I think so," I reply. "There's a vent they won't check. We can slip it in there." Together, we move silently through the house, setting the trap. The recorder is placed discreetly within the vent, capturing everything. As we finish, the faint sound of footsteps descending the stairs prickles my nerves. We duck into the shadows, holding our breaths as Clara and her lover comb through the living room. "Where could he be?" Clara hisses, her voice laced with frustration. "Let's just leave," her lover suggests, a hint of unease creeping into his tone. "Not yet. We haven't finished our game," Clara replies, her voice cold and resolute. They retreat back upstairs, likely to continue their twisted game, oblivious to the net tightening around them. "We have what we need for now. Let's regroup and plan our next move," Marla whispers as we slip away to Jake's house. In the dimly lit room, a plan for revenge begins to take shape, not just to break free of their grasp but to expose and destroy them for their betrayal. Tonight was just the beginning, and by the time I'm finished, their twisted game will be their downfall. As dawn creeps over the horizon, Jake murmurs, "I've got eyes on the house from here," gesturing to a small, advanced drone controller. "If they make a move, we'll know." Meanwhile, Mara is scribbling furiously in her notebook. "We need solid evidence that'll hold up in court," she says. "We've got the recording, but if we could catch them discussing their plans, or better yet, admitting what they did to you." Her voice trails off as we consider the possibilities. "Our operation has to be slick, covert. So, we bait them," I suggest, my mind racing with scenarios. "Get them to reveal their plans on camera." "Exactly," Mara nods, looking up at me with a determined glint in her eye. "You were their victim. It's risky, but if you're willing, you could confront them while we record everything." It's a daunting thought, but the hunger for revenge and justice fuels my resolve. Let's do it. We spend the morning preparing. Jake rigs up hidden cameras around my house, small and nearly invisible. He hands me a tiny earpiece. "I'll be with you every step. If things go south, we pull the plug." I nod, my heart thumping in my chest. This isn't just about gathering evidence anymore, it's about reclaiming control. Early afternoon, I make the call to set everything into motion. Clara, we need to talk, I say, keeping my voice steady. There's a pause. Then, all right. Come home. We can discuss whatever you need. As I approach the house, the drone buzzes quietly above, a silent guardian. Jake's voice crackles in my ear, all set. We see everything. I enter, feeling as if this familiar space has now become a battleground. Clara is sitting in the living room, her lover conspicuously absent. She stands as I enter, a look of concern painted across her face. I'm glad you're okay, she starts, but I cut her off. Save it. I know everything, Clara. The pills, the handcuffs. Why? Her eyes flicker, then harden. You were never supposed to find out this way. Her lover steps out from the kitchen, his expression unreadable. Clara, maybe we should. No, she snaps. We finish this. Finish what? I demand, my voice steady. What game are you playing at? She laughs, a sound devoid of warmth. It's not just a game. It's about power. About control. Her confession hangs heavily in the air. I glance subtly toward a vase, where I know a camera is hidden, hoping it's capturing every word. And you think you can just control people? Use them? I press, pushing for more. You'd be surprised what people do for excitement, her lover adds, stepping closer. Jake's voice is in my ear. We've got it. Get out now. I nod slightly, signaling I understand. This isn't over, I tell Clara firmly. It never is, she replies, her smirk chilling. As I walk out, the weight of their gaze on my back, I know the real battle is only beginning. With the evidence gathered today, the tides are shifting. It's time for them to learn that control is an illusion, and I'm about to shatter theirs completely. The sky is overcast, mirroring the turmoil inside me as I approach the courthouse with Jake and Mara by my side. Today, we'll expose Clara and her lover for their perversions and seek justice for their cruelty. Inside, the courtroom buzzes with the low hum of spectators and legal personnel. Clara is already there, her posture rigid, the calm before the storm etched on her features. Her lover, however, is conspicuously absent. As we take our seats, Mara leans over, whispering, "We have them. The evidence is irrefutable." Her confidence soothes my frayed nerves. The judge enters, and the room falls into hushed anticipation. All rise, the bailiff commands, and the session begins. The charges are read aloud: unlawful detention, assault, and more. Clara's face remains inscrutable, revealing nothing. Mara is the first to present, laying out the evidence with precision. The recordings play, Clara's chilling admissions echoing through the courtroom. Murmurs ripple through the crowd as the reality of her actions sinks in. Then, it's the defense's turn. Clara's lawyer stands and, in a shocking twist, calls her lover to the stand. Gasps ripple through the courtroom as he enters, not from the side door, but in handcuffs, escorted by officers. He casts a venomous glance at Clara before addressing the court. "I wish to make a full confession and testify against Clara," he announces, his voice clear and resonant. The courtroom erupts, and the judge bangs his gavel, demanding silence. He spins a tale of manipulation and deceit, explaining how Clara orchestrated everything from the beginning, even drugging him on that fateful night, using him as much as she used me. His confession paints Clara not merely as an accomplice, but as the mastermind. As he speaks, Clara's facade finally cracks, her eyes blazing with fury and betrayal. "You fool," she hisses, loud enough for those nearby to hear. The judge calls for order again, and the lover's testimony continues, detailing how Clara planned to pin everything on him if things went awry. "She's the architect of this whole twisted game," he concludes, his voice dropping to a remorseful whisper. With testimonies concluded, the judge retreats to deliberate. The wait is agonizing, each tick of the clock stretching painfully. Finally, the judge returns to deliver the verdict. Given the overwhelming evidence and the defendant's own confessions, it is the judgment of this court that Clara is found guilty on all counts. His voice is firm and unyielding. A collective breath is released throughout the room as the bailiffs lead Clara away. Our eyes meet one last time, rage, shock, and finally, defeat flashing across hers. Outside, the air feels fresher, lighter. Jake claps me on the back, a broad grin on his face. "It's over," he says, relief evident in his tone. Mara nods, her eyes thoughtful. Justice, though sometimes delayed, never fails to arrive. As we walk down the courthouse steps, a new feeling settles within me. Not just relief, but a profound realization of the strength found in resilience and the unbreakable human spirit. The game, indeed, is over, and in a twist none could have predicted, truth has trumped deception. It's a reminder that sometimes the darkest plots are unraveled by the courage of those willing to speak the truth.